Now, if you're in Derby and making plans to get the garden cleared this weekend, there is a slight spanner in the works. You're now going to have to pay for the waste to be taken away, as the City Council has become the latest to remove the brown bin service.
Well, they're not the only ones to charge. Birmingham City Council says its residents will have to pay £35 a year from March. Officials in Derby say they need to make savings, and by cutting some collections it'll save £1 million a year. But not everyone's happy with the change. Lee Comley reports.
Free of charge for the last time, this street in Derby's having its brown bins collected, each full of garden and food waste. As the cold weather's starting to set in, these collections won't start again until next April. And when they do, residents will have to pay £40 a year to keep the service.
I think to have an additional charge for it isn't right. That should be taken care of with your council tax.
Well, it's typical council really, isn't it? They charge for everything they can do. And I think it's a shame because people have that ability to get rid of their garden compost, you know, free, and it saves. It'll just add to fly tipping, I think.
It is putting us off from wanting to recycle our household waste, really. So I think we're going to put ours into the black bin rather than pay £40 a year, because I think we're paying enough council tax as it is.
The collection of garden waste is a discretionary service that councils can offer. It's not one they're forced to provide. The council says the new charge works out at £2.50 per collection, and if people need to, they can put garden waste in with their other rubbish. While many residents we spoke to were unhappy with the changes, the council says it's for an important reason.
Here in Derby we're saving £1.7 million by making some important changes, and this has come about as a result of the worst government cuts in the history of Derby. And in order to keep other essential services open, like children's centres, care homes, libraries and museums, the council can no longer afford to collect people's garden waste.
As more councils face cuts and start to charge for some services, paying for extra parts of our waste collection will become more commonplace. For residents under Derby City Council, that means stump up an extra £40 or avoid recycling it entirely. Lee Comley, ITV News.
It's one of those issues that people have a strong view on, isn't it?
And it's usually the one view,
It's usually the one view, as we're about to illustrate. You've been giving us your feelings through our Facebook and Twitter pages today. Here's just a flavour. John Wild from Castle Donington in Leicestershire says recycled waste generates a lot of cash for councils, and that should subsidise the collection of garden waste.
Well, Graham Coulson from Derby tells us, I can see there's going to be a lot more fly tipping of garden waste. This will cost more to get rid of than they were going to save.
And Alison Brenchley from Birmingham says, I think we already all pay enough with our council tax, and it's just another way of them making money out of cash-strapped families. Just a flavour there, all the same kind of flavour. Thanks to everybody who got in touch with their views.